Wow. Well, this thing keeps morphing by the day. So, just get to the essentials. Basically, Liz Ferris wanted to go to Natalie Webster's funeral for her husband, who recently passed away. I want to make clear I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't really know these people personally, so I want to be very careful. Although it is a tragedy that Natalie's husband passed away, her behavior is pretty atrocious. Although, to be fair, Liz did emphasize she wanted to go, but for whatever reason, she was uninvited because people would be nervous. There would be a scene if she came to the funeral. She didn't name names, but I think we can guess the obvious that it's either Aaron and or Nora or one of their people would have been very upset if Liz was there because she's too friendly to DOA and or Laura or whatever. And then on top of this, the people who helped raise Liz's fare to get there because she just doesn't have the money asked for their money back, and that caused another huge ruckus. But I'm not siding with Liz. I think there's something weird with the SPTV community, the way they seem to assume the way donations and gifts should work. Apparently, you should just give the money and ask no questions. And if you ask questions, you yourself are subjected to a lot of harassment and criticism and attacks. I don't know why. I do feel sorry for Liz, but I'm not sure her confession makes her look good. It was good to get an update on the information, but it kind of just showed how narcissistic all of SPTV is.
Not to attend. Correct. So I was asked not to. So it's not like I got sick or my flight was canceled. I was asked not to. Julie B, justice for Liz and Laura. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much.
Well, again, it's just a really bad situation that she needs the money in the first place. She just can't afford to get there. And it's all the more bizarre because Natalie has raised, at this point, $39,000 for the funeral. Originally, she asked for $20,000 for the funeral. And again, I don't know the economics of this totally, but it's like, okay, 20,000 seems like a lot of money, but all right, I guess they need that much money. But then it's like, what do you need an extra $19,000? And when they updated the goal, it was to get to $50,000. So good on Natalie to cut it off at a certain point. But you're like, where's all this money going? And if Liz needs the money just for a plane ticket, it's probably a few $100s. Well, you have like an extra $10,000. It's all very unseemly the way that, on the one hand, we're supposed to feel sad for Natalie. Don't ask any questions. That would be very disrespectful. And then she just asks out of nowhere, hey, could you give me an extra $10,000? For what? What would be the purpose? I don't know. And then it got even more strange and weird, where, of course, Nora, one of the loyal allies of Aaron Smith-Levin, decided to just get out there and start attacking Liz for allegedly lying and misrepresenting what happened. What were the misrepresentations? Apparently that she didn't tell Aaron the total truth about her conversation with DOA. What was Liz hiding, or what did Liz misrepresent? I don't know. I guess it's the generosity of Aaron. That Aaron has been a beautiful, sweet, dear, Mao Zedong, Stalin leader, and we all need to cheerlead anytime he just opens his mouth. I guess that was the high crime, and Liz needs to think about this. Now, Nora's not saying we should be punishing Liz. We should just know that she's not a trustworthy person.
Funding it. She said to him, I didn't talk to Scott. Okay. Then when she's on the live, which that other person, Xenu Andy, put up the clip, she admitted that she talked to Scott about it. That is a lie, Selfless. Plain and simple. It doesn't make her a criminal, and I'm not gaslighting anybody. You are attempting to gaslight me and everybody else. If you can't see someone lying in real time, okay,
Now, some people may not get the joke, but Nora has been caught red-handed, not one time, two times, three times, like almost Dozens of times she's been caught lying and lying and lying, and gaslighting and character assassinating people on the basis of very thin evidence. And here she is doing it again, but it's Liz who is the problem. It's DOA who is the problem. But is Nora the problem? Or Aaron the problem? No. No. They're just really full-time radical activists who are really radical, eating a lot of candy bars, driving around, posing with the camera, and that's the radical activism. They're too busy to do actual protesting because, listen, guys, I'm here educating the peoples. That's what we do. That's what me and Aaron does. Aaron talks with Jenna. That's educating the peoples. And what does Nora does? Well, she's correcting ideologically Liz Ferris and DOA and other people. She's the ideological propaganda minister. So that's a full-time job. As indeed it is, because believe me, I patiently tried to be devil's advocate, listen to both sides, but and let's be very clear, DOA is a monster. He is not a good guy, and Liz Ferris is working with a lot of toxic people like Pearl Snappy, and even Selfless, who is a very dedicated activist. He's done some very sketchy stuff. I'm not admiring the DOA Liz Ferris group, but again, in this situation, they're correct to ask questions. But Nora couldn't help herself but try to correct DOA. And good on DOA, he wasn't buying it. He said, well, it just seems like we're getting punished for asking questions. And Nora was like, no, those aren't really questions. Those are really special, weird words.
At least, well, yeah, you had raised the question. You had raised like our kind of immune response to this kind of BS coming from him. Without those questions, we'd be like, oh, maybe it couldn't possibly be. But either way, this lawyering, this is like bad for a California public defender who's like friends with the cops.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like that stuff. I mean, the amount of plea deals in the California system given out by public defenders is legendary. But that's what it seemed like to me, like getting railroaded, basically. And for that amount of money, yeah, that was poor. And it,
you know,
and
for that amount of money, that doesn't even, you don't even consider an offer at the beginning. So
okay, there's still questions. Just answer the question. And I found it really amusing. Nora expected DOA to answer all the questions, but when he asked questions, she's like, well, that's something you need to ask Sir Creepazoid. Maybe that's something you need to ask that particular person. I can't speak for Aaron, even though she was speaking for Aaron for the whole conversation. It's just gotten really weird and silly that this is supposed to project a family-friendly atmosphere, that the SBTV family is not like Mike Rinder. It's not like Scientology. Guys, it's not a cult. We're all friends here. But everything, and I do mean everything, is being put to this weird ideological purity test. If you're not going to do the propaganda full-time 24/7, you're not going to be invited to the funeral. Can't you just be there to mourn? No, she's got to be there to do photo ops, smile, say something to the camera, bow down to Aaron, say, our dear leader is our dear leader, and his dear leadering is bringing North Korea to the glory of Thumbria, or whatever. It's just really, really bizarre. And I don't use these examples lightly. It is just full-blown Stalinism, even Hitlerism. It is just so bizarre. I mean, I'm thankful that Nora and Aaron don't have the power of an actual dictator, but they're putting off everything that a dictatorial regime would do, just these endless propaganda sessions and this attempt to make everyone feel guilty for just asking questions or having doubts about their leader. And when they do answer questions, it's always very evasive, and they always project the guilt they have onto other people. It is very sad and unseemly, and it's very disturbing, especially given all the money being donated and gifted. Again, the donors do have a right to ask a few questions if they're going to give this large amount of money, but apparently, no. This dictatorship goes only one way. Aaron accepts questions only approved by Nora, Jenna himself, or the mods. That's not a dictatorship. It's not even authoritarian. It's just how this family operates. Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me of another kind of family. But I'll leave it to the imagination to let people know what that kind of family is. That kind of family is not very family friendly.